I would like to call to order this meeting of the Forest Grove City Council at 7:03 on April 8th, 2024. Will the city recorder please call roll?
Councilor Gustafson?
Here.
Council President Rupy?
Here.
Councilor Martinez?
Here.
Councilor Marshall?
Here.
Councilor Valenzuela?
Here.
Councilor Ewing? Absent.
Absent. Oh, do you want me to say that?
And Mayor Wenzel?
Here. Forest Grove City Council meetings are located on the land of the Tualatin Kalapuas, who call themselves the Atfalati. They are now part of the Confederate Tribes of Grand Ronde. Will the audience and council please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Sorry, I need to see an eye doctor. So I'm having a really hard time. Who experience abuse are uniquely affected because they are still developing and therefore suffer lifelong effects to their physical and emotional health. And whereas sexual violence, childhood abuse, and interpersonal crime affect all people, but disproportionately affect those impacted by systemic inequities. And whereas when harm does occur, we are determined to respond by helping survivors find not only safety, healing, and justice, but also equitable access to services, a sense of hope for their future, and the tools to rebuild their lives. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Forest Grove does hereby proclaim April 2024 and April 22nd through April 26th as Child Abuse Prevention Month and Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Crime Victims' Rights Week in Forest Grove, Oregon, Washington County, and reaffirms our commitment to supporting a coordinated and collaborative community of providers that deliver intervention and prevention services of violence and abuse all year long.
Proclamación. Mes de la prevención del abuso infantil y mes de la concientización de la agresión sexual y Semana de los Derechos de Víctimas del Delito. Considerando que Oregon registra tasas más altas de violencia doméstica, agresión sexual y trauma infantil que el promedio nacional, y considerando que el abuso infantil y la violencia sexual son algunos de los problemas de salud pública más serios y que numerosos estudios documentan el vínculo entre el trauma y una amplia gama de experiencias médicas, emocionales, psicológicas y conductuales, con efectos tanto a corto como a largo plazo. Y considerando que los niños que sufren abuso se ven especialmente afectados porque aún se están desarrollando y por lo tanto sufren efectos permanentes en su salud física y emocional. Y considerando que la violencia sexual, el abuso infantil y los delitos interpersonales afectan a todas las personas, pero afectan de manera desproporcionada a quienes se ven afectados por desigualdades sistémicas. Y considerando que cuando ocurre un daño estamos decididos a responder, ayudando a los sobrevivientes a encontrar no solo seguridad, curación y justicia, sino también acceso equitativo a los servicios, un sentido de esperanza para su futuro y las herramientas para reconstruir sus vidas. Ahora, por lo tanto, el Ayuntamiento de la ciudad de Forest Grove, por la presente proclama al mes de abril 2024 y a la semana del 22 al 26 de abril 2024 como mes de la prevención del abuso infantil y mes de la concientización de la agresión sexual, semana de los derechos de víctimas del delito. En Forest Grove, Oregon, Condado de Washington, y reafirma nuestro compromiso de apoyar una comunidad coordinada y colaborativa de proveedores que brindan servicios de intervención y prevención de violencia y abuso durante todo el año. En testimonio de lo cual ha suscrito la presente y ha hecho que el sello de la ciudad de Forest Grove, Oregon, se emplace en este día 8 de abril nuestra alcaldesa, Alinda Wilson.
Our second proclamation tonight is for National Library Week. Whereas libraries provide the opportunity for everyone to pursue their passion and engage in lifelong learning, allowing them to live their best life. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve, and ensure equity of access for all. And whereas libraries play a critical role in the economic vitality of communities by providing internet and technology access, literacy skills, and support for job seekers, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. And whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and community goals, and shared community goals. And whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week with the theme, Ready, Set, Library. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Forest Grove does hereby proclaim April 7th through April 13th, 2024 as National Library Week. During this week, we encourage all residents to visit their local library to explore the wealth of resources available. Thank you.
Proclamación, Semana Nacional de la Biblioteca. Considerando que las bibliotecas brindan la oportunidad para que todos persigan su pasión y participen en el aprendizaje permanente, lo que les permite vivir su mejor vida, y considerando que las bibliotecas han servido durante mucho tiempo como instituciones de confianza para todos los miembros de la comunidad, independientemente de su raza, etnia, credo, capacidad, orientación sexual, identidad de género o condiciones socioeconómicas. Y considerando que las bibliotecas se esfuerzan por desarrollar y mantener programas y colecciones que sean tan diversas como las poblaciones a las que sirven y garantizar la igualdad de acceso para todos, y considerando que las bibliotecas desempeñan un papel fundamental en la vitalidad económica de las comunidades al proporcionar acceso a Internet y tecnología, habilidades de alfabetización y apoyos para quienes buscan trabajo, pequeñas empresas y empresarios. Considerando que las bibliotecas son lugares accesibles e inclusivos que promueven un sentido de conexión local, fomentando la comprensión, el compromiso cívico y los objetivos comunitarios compartidos, y considerando que las bibliotecas, los bibliotecarios y los trabajadores de las bibliotecas se unen a los partidarios y defensores de las bibliotecas en todo el país para celebrar la Semana Nacional de la Biblioteca con el tema en sus marcas Listos Biblioteca. Ahora, por lo tanto, el Consejo Municipal de la ciudad de Forest Grove por la presente proclama el 7 al 13 de abril de 2024 como Semana Nacional de la Biblioteca. Durante esta semana alentamos a todos los residentes a visitar su biblioteca local para explorar la gran cantidad de recursos disponibles. El testimonio firma la presente y hace que se coloque el sello de la ciudad de Forest Grove, Oregon, este 8 de abril de 2024, nuestra alcaldesa.
Okay, we are moving on to item B on our agenda, which is public comment. Time provided for anyone wishing to speak to the City Council on an item not on the agenda or on the agenda but not scheduled for a public hearing. Comments are limited to 2 minutes unless additional time is granted by the presiding officer. The public comment period shall not exceed 30 minutes unless a majority of councilors present vote to extend the time. Zoom attendees may use the raise hand option to be called on. Okay, so first up is Mr. Tyler Curtis. Could you please come? Is there a chair where the microphone is? Thank you. Hello, thank you. You can sit in that chair.
Hello? Is this thing on?
Yes, it is.
How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Thank you.
I've never done this before, so do I just go at it?
Yep, go for it.
Okay. So I might need a little more than 2 minutes. I'm gonna try to speak fast and as accurate as I can. But I'm sure everybody here's time crunch, so I'm gonna do my best. I have called Forest Grove, the police department, several times in the last couple of years to report unmuffled engines driving through the neighborhood during quiet hours, which are 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Washington County Code Chapter 8.24.030. I'm gonna stand up so I feel better. The first few times I spoke to the officers about noise laws, they had no knowledge of noise laws. 2 months later, I spoke to an officer to look over laws. Noise after also laws that's for vehicle 6 8.5.50. He didn't know about the muffler law 84040, so I got that one. Then another officer came to the brick wall in the office. Someone needs to be there, see them, they can't take second knowledge. I asked, well, why can't you be there? He explained that they're often on their call and don't have time to pull over loud cars. He then explained that he needs measurable evidence that I have decimal. Explained that the whole department has decimal. I asked, who do I talk to? You guys more decimal. This has been going on for years. I called the Forest Grove department again on March 8th. Another officer had no idea what I was talking about. And I asked if anyone else in the department has ever cited someone for breaking noise laws. He said that he has never heard of anyone in the department. I have been bringing attention to this issue for a couple of years now, and hear that nobody's enforcing laws at the Forest Grove Police Department. So many people are breaking. I submitted a report to SST, told me that they forwarded it to Forest Grove people. When I spoke to Sergeant Dorick as part of his investigation into this, he was confused about what I wanted. That report submitted to him by the SST made it sound like I wanted to be officer. I said no. I told him that's not what I want. My goal is anyone in trouble. Those officers job. I want them to have more fun. They want to enforce laws. The ones that might are not as bad as the other ones. I agree that some situations, however, all laws. I don't want to make the problem worse by getting someone fired. Or less. I want to help. There is a reason why those laws are in place in court. Noise pollution has all sorts of negative health effects on people and Sergeant Torres explained to me that the department is very short staffed. Promised me that he would work to get as long as one decimal. He said he only has one decimal, so I want to help more. He then also regurgitated what one of the other officers said about officers he had seen to hand out a fine for breaking the law. I told him I agree and asked him how many people were pulled over speeding at aftermarket unregulated exhaust. He said a lot. Now I said, probably think of better ideas than I how to uphold the law, but how much extra work would it be? Fine for an unlawful engine on top of it. Guys, more money, guy is incentivized. Say when he said, yeah, that could work. I hate loud cars too. I want to get them off the road. As I had told one other officer, I originally thought that it was legal for the Force Code to have aftermarket exhaust systems. One drives by roughly every second. This is not the case, however. They are very much legal. They just don't enforce. I'm here today to ask for more funding for the police officers at use that would quickly pay for themselves. I wasn't planning on stopping here related to the safety of kids, but it is related in a way because it has shown that noise pollution in neighborhoods do lower IQ scores.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, do I sit down or?
I think you're good. You're good to go back to your seat. Thank you for your public comment. Okay. See you. Thank you. Okay, our second person signed up for public comment is Ms. Carol Allery. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
I'm here with a sad, okay? And the reason I'm sad, I am a mom of 5 children. I have 14 grandchildren. I have 11 great. I have used public libraries, children. You were talking about yourself, just quoting your own process about how the sex trade and everything has gotten worse and what's happening to our children, and yet you will allow in our public library books, pornography, books that should 5 years ago you would never even seen things that are so appalling that they break my heart. We're supposed to be safe. We're supposed to be the ones standing up, protecting the children, and we're throwing them into the wolves instead of for whatever reason. And I'm not going to be silent. People need to stand up, and we as the city council need to go over to the library and start checking out what you're seeing over there and realizing, do we want to have our children learn at age 5 things about their body that should never be taught because they're not able to do it? You get any psychologist who will sit before you and they will tell you the harm that these things are doing. And I'm pleading with you. Look at this, stand up. You have the power. Your voice is important, just like my voice is. Stand for what is truth, because you don't want this, you don't want your children to be eaten by this, and they will. Because this isn't going to stop. You think it's going to stop by being silent? No, this is going to. And I'm asking you to think about this. You know what I'm sharing with you is, and that truth is, we have a problem in our public life. We need somebody and say, it's time to. I want to go back to times when I took the kids and we got good books and we could take them, we could get videos that were decent, and we knew things were okay. It was good. That's what I have.
Thank you for your public comment. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to give public comment? Seeing none, is there anyone on Zoom who would like to give public comment? I don't see any participants. Okay, no attendees. Okay, moving on to item C, the consent agenda. Items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will all be adopted with a single motion without separate discussion. Counselors who wish to remove an item from the consent agenda may do so prior to the motion. Any items removed will be discussed and acted upon following the approval of the remaining items. What is the wish of the council?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
The consent agenda was moved by Counselor Gustafson and seconded by Counselor Valenzuela. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved with a vote of 6-0. Item D, additions or deletions. Mr. City Manager, any additions or deletions?
There are no additions or deletions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any proposed by counselors? Seeing none, we will now move on to item E, which is our presentations. We have 3 presentations tonight. I would ask the council to hold questions until the end of each presentation. A 2-minute reminder will be given to the presenter to conclude remarks. And our first presenter is from the Family Justice Center, and it is Miss Rachel Schutz. Did I say her name right? I hope so. Okay, good. Miss Willie, are you coming up as well too? Great, thanks. Oh, we need another. Yeah, you'll grab it. Okay, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice to be here. Thank you for allowing us. My name is Judy Willie, and I'm the president of the Family Justice Center Board and have been involved since before we opened doors. So, a great ride. What I want to share with you in the start, Rachel is going to share a lot of great news in other ways, not great, but what we do, about happening in the city. And what I want to share with you and to come before the City Council here is what our board of directors and the leadership part of the nonprofit, from that perspective, who we are, what we do, and the exciting times that we're going through right now. So I wrote down a couple notes about the board and we have more positions right now open on the board, and it's really because most of the board members have been with from almost the very beginning, and they sold off years go by, and so we're really excited that we have positions open, and we're looking at stronger and better board development in all areas. And we also would like to have more representation from around the so that we're serving every city in some form, whether it be on a committee or. And so I wanted to put that out there. If any of you are done to be on the board, it would be great. Or if you know someone, we actually 3 years ago from Tiger, 2 board members come on board, and they were excellent recommendations for me. And so what we're looking for is actually moving forward. The other thing is we still have strong leadership. Really pleased with board members still, and everybody's really working hard right now from the board perspective on the new building we just purchased. And so that, I'll fold into that real quick. We a lot of building. We've been talking about it for probably 4 years now, about moving forward and needing more space. And Rachel's done a great job in bringing in more partners, and we really are out of space. And the biggest reason we wanted to find a new building was to bring West into our building. They do not have a home in Washington County that they call a home like they do a home. So a lot of parents and kids can travel still to Sonoma County. And as much as we do not like the idea that we're serving, I'm not sure that's true today, but they were serving more kids for more than they than they. So that switch started happening, and that's what drove us to say we need. So soon, 2026 spring, we will be moving that building. We're now doing some remodeling. We'll be moving into that building in Hills, right on the corner of Hills. And it's much bigger than what we have today, and it will allow a lot of growth. And we're really excited about that. I would like to say that the next step we have is we've raised a lot of money to pay for the building and some money for remodel. And it's just the building was used for big open space. We have to now make a little, but the whole idea is we will be going into the campaign, the end of our raised all this money and some more to raise. So there's a lot ahead of us right now, Family Justice Center, but we're very proud of where we started, where we are today, and we know we're going to be in a center that really will serve a lot more people, survivors who really need, and increase. So Rachel. I
Oh, thank you. And fresh food as well. We brought on Adelante Mujeres to offer services of their Espere program or the Beyond Trauma program that they offer now year round, which is just an incredible program. I mean, you guys more than any city know that. But they've been truly an amazing partners that we are so excited to have. And we were able to do more community events last year. We did our Run for Hope for the first time, which was during October's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we had over 150 community members come out. We were shocked by how many people came out, which was really fantastic. We did our Shop at the Top programs, and we did our Voices of Hope Survivor Art Gallery, which the third annual was just Tuesday. And that's a really beautiful event where survivors throughout the year collect their art, and there's a gallery in the county that will partner with us. You guys last year actually held it at the library for October, which was just amazing. We made such a great relationship there, and they're really interested to do it again in the future. And then we worked with our Voices Committee, which the Voices are survivors that have come through the Family Justice Center, and they choose to serve as on our advisory board to provide their voices in the operations and the policies and decision making at the Family Justice Center, but then also widely into our community, advocating for survivor-friendly policies and laws, both in the community, and then we've gotten to state work, which has been fantastic with local legislators. So Like I said, we served over 5,600 survivors last year with over 10,000 services. And I included in the report some of the outcomes because we started collecting outcomes from survivors that have gone through many of the programs and services that are offered there. 85% of survivors that said they felt that their children were cared for while they were at the center. 100% of survivors reported that they experienced trauma-informed care while receiving services. And 87% of survivors reported that they received the help that they needed to keep their family safe. So even more than all of our numbers, those are really the meaningful statistics to me. And then the one for Forest Grove specifically is that we served 95 people that reported that they were from Forest Grove and provided them with 177 services, which is an increase over all of the previous years, and I really attribute that to increased engagement with the community. I attribute that to also increased engagement with the city. I think that we always get a big drive in numbers from October through December, and having that exhibit here in Forest Grove really made a big difference in that. Because the library in particular was so generous in that they dedicated a huge amount of space, not only to the gallery itself, but they had signage and they had resources out on tables, and they also had readings that they pulled, which just made a really big difference for the community to be able to come in a safe manner in a place that they already trust, be able to pick up books and media that might help them discover about their own experience. And so I think that really made a big difference in Forest Grove's numbers this year. And then one interesting statistic, just to close out, was that Washington County as a whole is identifies as 78% white and 22% people of color. But the Family Justice Center, our numbers are 57% people of color. And that really stood out to me this year, particularly because we know that there's a disproportionate impact on communities of color. We knew that coming out of the pandemic, and that continued to show up. But what I'm really grateful for is that the communities that need us the most are finding us in the ways that are easiest to access for them. And so I'm grateful for all the partners. I'm grateful for all of the support that you guys have given us on a regular basis. It continues to make meaningful impact in Forest Grove, to be engaged with us even though we are not in Forest Grove. More of your residents, more of your survivors are getting those services because we continue to work together on making sure that that is accessible for them. So I just thank you again this year and look forward to speaking to you next year about what's going on in 2024.
Yeah, any questions? I have a question for staff and then a comment for you all. On our website, is there like a loading, I don't know what it's called because I'm not techie, but like resources community members can use? And do we have a link to the Family Justice Center? I'm just wondering, like one of the things we heard when Congresswoman Bonamici was here is people are looking to like get access to information, right? Like you don't know exactly what you need, something's happened. So just a landing spot where we can help facilitate. I would like to, I guess I would just say I would like to see it on our website if we don't. Somehow that we can link, you know, virtually and figuratively and really link services to people in our community who might not know about the family justice system would be really, really helpful. And I just love the family justice system. I remember touring it when you first opened your doors, and just that idea of essential services. And life is hard, and it's especially hard when you're a victim of abuse. And I just think to be able to go to one spot and have so many resources is just amazing. So when I lose one of these jobs, I will definitely join your board. And I will try to recruit and get the word out because it's really just such a good resource. So, any other comments?
No, I just have well, first of all, thank you so much for the work that you do. I'm just wondering if you have, if there is any information throughout the city, for example, at the library, information of resources, brochures that you can leave that people can pick up and take with them, or just around the city.
was going to wonder. That's it. I was wondering that when you were presenting. I was like, how do people get out there? But that's so good, right? Isn't Ride Connection just such another great service? So, I mean, that could be another link, right? I know I love ProLink. Okay, cool. Council President Rippey.
Thank you again for your support. I really appreciate everything that you've done. I'm a big fan of the Family Justice Center. One of the little-known facts nationwide, about 11 to 13% of domestic violence victims are males. Have you seen any males at all come to the Family Justice Center looking for support? Thank you. I do think I think we need to speak more openly about those kinds of issues for male. As a society, we just rarely mention it.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for coming out to Forest Grove and giving us the update. Thank you. Okay, our second presentation for the night is from our Library Commission, and they're going to do their annual report. And we have Miss Pamela Bailey coming up. Hello, Pamela.
Appreciate this opportunity to come and share and things about our library, and especially since it's National Library. And I know we have
She's wondering about the PowerPoint.
and then do I- okay. I'm doing. Okay, okay, there we are, our commission members. I'm the vice chair, and our commission members are Morgan Knapp, chair, Tina Atwood, and by Susan. And I'd also like to thank Valerie Ingram and Hattie Krebsbaugh, who have recently left the commission, who were terrific commissioners. So they are sorely missed. This one is about what the commission does. We work with the library director and the staff on matters of the library. So that's a lot of policies that we write, advocacy, staff support. We do things such as we bring treats to the library, Week. We develop policies along with Colleen and the staff. We also try to share information with the public about what the library does. A lot of the programming, the resources, the notary service that they have, a lot of the special exhibits talking about the that they had in October. And another thing that we have done a lot in the past is survey with the community to find out what it is that the community is looking for, what they like about the library. These are the three groups that work together to support the library. The Library Foundation is more in what we would call like capital campaigns. They would a big addition to the library, and also largely the Molly's Garden project. And the Friends of the Library, you probably have seen a lot of what they do because they do book sales, and they also fund a lot of the programming, reading programs, and a lot of the programs that the library does. The commission is more of a, kind of behind the scenes group. We, like I said, we do a lot of policy and things. So still important. We all do it because we love it. Anything we can do. Here's our goals that we set on February 20th. And so you can see, number one, policy, inventory, and review. And then number two is National Library Week celebration, which is this next week. Just an example of policy. I'm not sure how much you guys know about it. Like the Rogers Room, we have a policy, a display policy, behavior policy, lots of things need to be updated. And then staff appreciation, that's something we would do for certainly National Library Week. If staff members retiring, or if they've had like a milestone of say 30 years, something we gathering of the group is a time when the three groups get together, and we do this not every year, but maybe every other year. And it's important for us to know about what each of the groups is working on. And even though we might occasionally go to each other's meetings, it's important for us to have an opportunity to get together and really share the information that everybody is working on, because there's often a lot of work. And then also coming to city council meetings and sharing information with the board is important. And then number 6, it says support the Friends of the Library Freedom to Read event. So that's one of their goals this year. And we just try to support any of the efforts that they have that also we feel like support our library and our community out. And then this number 7 says develop guidelines for our library. And so that's something we've worked on because if you've been in there, notice there's a lot of art. And then the last one is WCCLS structure and governance. And there's a lot of changes that are possibly happening right now with WCCLS that could affect the library. And so we're trying to kind of just keep abreast of those changes to see what we might need to do differently at the library. It could affect funding, some other things. And there is our beautiful van. Marcy Kriebel did the mural that's on the wall by the Dick Ginsburg Garden. And then her artwork is also featured on the van, which is ready to roll for outreach. So that's one of the things that the library started to do a lot of during the pandemic was outreach. And they decided really, really found that to be a valuable, for the community to be out there at parks and really meeting people where they were. So that's our beautiful new. And there is Molly's garden, which Pauline and I thought it's such a beautiful picture. We're just going to put that in because we just love it. And that's an example of something that the Library Foundation and the Friends both work really hard. The other thing I want to say is just thank you to all of the amazing staff at our library, because they all have a role in making the library such a warm and welcoming place for everyone, young and old. And I have these brochures that I'm going to pass out to you. These are Carolina and Lily make these brochures every month that'll tell you about the library. So I will pass those out.
Thank you. Thank you.
And they're
Thank you.
very pretty.
Thank you.
And they're easy to read. So any questions for Pamela?
I have some.
Okay. Counselor Martinez.
So can you tell me, the library survey, I don't know that I've ever seen one. Does it usually go out to current patrons?
We haven't done one in a couple of years, but they've been in different forms. Years ago, we did them in your utility bill. That's been like 15 years ago. And then we did surveys in-house where we would have our questions. We have kind of, we figure out what are some key questions that we need to know the answers to. And we would do that right in the library. And then we did a listening tour a few years ago. I think that was our most recent, where we went out into the community in pairs. So we would go Safeway, Goodwill. I got to go to Urban Decanter, just all over the community. And it was both library commissioners and library staff that went out to just ask community members, like, what do you know about the library? What do you, have you been there? What do you think is really important for a library? It was very open-ended.
I'm not sure how to phrase this other question that I have. As far as what our local libraries look like, or what the content is that dictated by the community, or is that Washington County, because it is Washington County Library System?
It's more WCCLS, it's the county.
Okay. And the reason that I ask some of those questions is I have heard from people in the community also who are not happy with a lot of the books that are available for their young children and pubescent teens. Unhealthy information very often that they have access to that they're not ready for at this age, and that would be more appropriate for older, potentially older teens, not really, but more adults. So.
And I'm not sure quite what that is, but I think it's, we don't want to deny access to everyone. Maybe what you're saying is it sounds like it's kind of like something that would be age appropriate.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot, like the previous group talked about how important it is for people to be able to find something of themselves in the library. It can be really a very important, give them a sense of self, a sense of validation, to be able to find a book at the library that validates their experience. And I think that's a really important part of what libraries are all about.
And I agree, as long as children, I just, not for children. That's kind of where I stand. So, but thank you for coming and sharing the information about the library. I appreciate it.
Council President Rippey.
Thank you again for the presentation. I'm really excited about the mobile library. I think one of my most fondest memories of a kid, we had a park across the street from where we lived, and every summer I'd go get books. week after week. It was wonderful, and so I'm glad that we're engaging in that kind of activity. And I'm glad that the van looks beautiful. So I think it'll be attractive to kids. One question I had is regarding, this past year, we spent a lot of time looking at the boards and commission. And I guess one question I'd have for all of them, and as each of them present, are you getting enough guidance from the council on any work that you think you ought to be doing?
I think we are. I think the Library Commission is a little bit different from some of the other ones because Library Commission is required for libraries. So we're a little bit different from your other commissions, but we are Mariana Valenzuela is our one liaison, and so we meet, every month with her, and I just feel like we get information about what you guys are doing, and then Colleen and the library staff also. We have meetings where different people, Nathan or Carolina or Lily will come in and meet with the library commission so that we can kind of guide our, our agenda.
Okay, great. Good to hear. Thank you.
So I have a comment and then a follow-up question. So picture this. Sicily, I'm just kidding. Spring break. My son has a couple of friends stay the night, and in the morning they're eating and they're like developing their plan for the day. And they're like, oh, we're going to go to the library and then we're going to go to the pool and check out the new slide. And I was like, so excited. My mom, I think it was like more of like being the mayor. I was like, oh my gosh, these things we've put money into. And so then I meet with my intern from Pacific at the library. So then I saw him after school. So anyways, here comes my question. I think the teen area is a huge success. And I actually go to the library weekly. I was there today, and it's popping. And so I'm just wondering with the policies, as that space is more defined for teens. And it was funny because when I met with Abigail, she was sitting in there, and I was like, I'm not going in there because I'm an adult, and that's the teens. I like to value space. But anyways, I'm just wondering if our behavior policy, if the libraries found that is effective at every space in the library. Like, does there need to be, and I'm seeing Colleen say yes. So that's great news. And just a huge congratulations that I just think the library is always busy. Like I am not exaggerating that I go in there once a week. And I just feel like the study rooms are open, the teen libraries, like the more that I roam around, and in response to the public comment, I think in the council, about, I've never seen these library books, but I also think that as a city, as a policymaking group of 28,000, we have our is more of an umbrella. And if as a teacher too, if parents don't want their kids, like if something's not appropriate, then that's, I would say, the oversight of the parent to come and say, hey, I don't want you to check that out. I mean, that's like in my class, I write emails all the time, like, do you want to opt out? Do you want to do this? So I think too, just understanding that balance of like what we do for our taxpayers and then that boundary is all I would say. The whole community, correct. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Pamela. And next up, we have the Hazel Sills Park Universally Accessible Playground Replacement, and we have our staff, Miss Ann Lane, and then I believe probably a consultant who's coming up to share much more. 2 consultants. I like it. So Ann will just pass the microphone down when.
No problem.
Okay, cool.
All right. So thank you for your time this evening, Mayor and Council. The purpose of tonight's presentation is to provide you with an update on the Universally Accessible Playground Replacement Project at Hazel Sills Park. Hazel Sills Park is a small half-acre neighborhood park located at 1627 Willamina Avenue. This project was identified both in the 2016 Park Recreation and Open Space Master Plan and on the capital improvement project for this current fiscal year. The project is being paid for by Hazel Hills Park is the first in a series of playground replacement projects slated to take place over the coming years. Each year, a different, already existing playground will be identified for replacement. We will be addressing playgrounds in the worst overall condition first. That assessment includes an examination of the overall condition, accessibility, and required maintenance of the existing site. The intended outcomes of this approach and effort are to provide play structures, play areas for the community that are universally accessible and inclusive, streamlined for reduced maintenance requirements, address and enhance safety features, encourage positive use, increase community awareness, support trust, is a source of pride and ownership in the community, and encourages park use and universally accessible play is the idea that all children benefit from it, and careful consideration should be taken to ensure as many kids have access to play as possible. Take a step back in time and think of your peers from grade school. You might remember that not all children enjoy the same type of environment or engage in the playground the same way. Some children sit to the side of the playground while others run to the activity or with friends. Many playgrounds were not made to accommodate children with disabilities or children that prefer different styles of play. Now imagine those kids playing alongside everyone else because they have access to play equipment or are offered a style of play that they want to engage in. Key component to universal accessibility is engagement of the highest number of kids, widest range of ability, through the creation of opportunities for a variety of types of play. The result is more opportunities to get outside. Through a request for proposal process that began in late August and closed in mid-October, we received 3 qualified proposals. Grass Stains LLC was selected and awarded the project. They have partnered with Learning Landscape Design on this project. Both agencies are well-versed in universally accessible and inclusive playground design and construction. So once all the contract and administrative dust settled, we got to work right away to develop a concept plan and review and select play feature options. The next step was a presentation to the Park Conservation Commission that took place at their December meeting. The commission was able to weigh in on equipment selection, gain a better understanding of how a universally accessible play feature is different than a standard play feature, and discuss common misconceptions of what a universally accessible playground looks like and how it's used collectively by those of all abilities. In January, we provided a brief community engagement opportunity via the city's social media platforms. We shared 2 options for the main play component and asked the community to vote and share feedback. We received 342 votes over a 7-day voting period. The crab trap was the hands down #1 choice, garnering 257 of them. It's important to note that we are not simply replacing a play structure. We've examined the entire park and are addressing barriers to access throughout the entire space. A few things we're doing to address the barriers include adding a concrete sidewalk along the frontage of the park property, a concrete path from the sidewalk to the playground and through to the existing path on the north side, and an ADA curb ramp from the street to the park. About a dozen new trees will be planted. Surfacing under the play structures will be a rubberized pour-in-place material. This product was also used. Replacing the 2 memorial benches, but reattaching the glass. Adding an ADA picnic table on a concrete pad with a trash can, and adding a bike. So this is a very exciting project that the city should be very proud to provide for the community. We have made a commitment to enhance livability through access to play and are establishing a new. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Matt Holt.
Questions or no? Okay, questions, Council President Rippey?
Thank you, I appreciate it, and that park does need improvement. The one of the things I notice in contrast between what's existing there today, the old style of doing things, you have that wooden border around the sawdust, which is a tripping hazard both for children and adults, and particularly seniors, grandparents who are taking their grandchildren to the park. So I'm kind of curious as to the surface that you're using here. It's rubberized, but I'm interested in, being an engineering geek, what about the water runoff? Is that are you taking that into consideration? And is that just going to cause mud traps around the area? Yeah. Okay. Great, thank you.
I have a comment and a question. I really like the whole design, and I think too, when I try to explain, when we make things all inclusive, you support everyone, right? So like now someone who might need, assisted, like a wheelchair can get there, but also people who are coming for parties with coolers, people in strollers, right? Like it just really helps everyone. My question is maintenance with the Abby and Anna's playground. There's a piece of equipment there that just keeps breaking, and it's caused us a lot of, well, not me because I'm not staff, but it's caused staff a lot of headaches. So with the equipment that we're choosing, how easy is it to maintain, and what is the plan for upkeep? Keeping it real. Mm-hmm.
See the spinner there is slightly elevated. It's not in the grade, which is one of the conditions that cause that challenge with the equipment. But it still has a transfer station, so it is still accessible.
Yeah, I see that on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can still put it. That's cool. Okay. Thanks. Any other questions?
What's the plan with the old equipment? Is it outdated and can't be recycled, or can it be reused at other parks?
Good question.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. It was nice meeting you all. Thank you so much.
Bunch of good news.
I know,
today.
right? I just feel very happy.
Maybe we could just end it with it.
Yeah, but right. No, we have few work sessions after this. Okay, item F1, our second reading of ordinance number 2024-04. And I will now reopen the public hearing for a second reading of ordinance number 2024-04. The City Council passed a motion during the March 18th council meeting, continuing the public hearing and advancing the ordinance to a second reading. If approved, the ordinance will amend the traffic code section of the Forest Grove City Code. I see that our city manager is filling in for Paul tonight. So are there any additional comments that staff would like to enter into the record?
There are none. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Does council have any questions for staff?
No.
Seeing no questions from council, I will now call on persons who signed up to comment on the ordinance. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Are there any proponents who would like to give public testimony? Seeing none. Are there any opponents who would like to give public testimony? Seeing none. Are there any participants who would like to give what is categorized as other comments for the public hearing? Okay, the hearing is now closed. Is there a motion from the council to approve the second reading of ordinance number 2024-04?
I move that we approve ordinance 2024-04.
I second.
Perfect. It was moved by Councilor Martinez and seconded by Council President Rippey. Is there any further discussion from the council on the motion before we proceed with a roll call vote? Seeing none, will the city manager please read ordinance 2024-04 by title only?
Ordinance number 2024-04, adding to and amending Forest Grove Code of Ordinances Title 1, General Provisions, Section 10.09, Title 7, Traffic Code, Section 73.055, Immobilization and Impoundment of Vehicles, Section 74.01, Definitions, Section 74.05, Towing and Storage Liens, Section 74.06, Pre-Towing Notice, Section 74.07, Post-Towing Notice, Section 74.09, Charges and Release of Vehicle or Trailer, Section 74.10, Sale or Disposal of Vehicle or Trailer Not Reclaimed, and Section 74.11, Sale or Disposition of Vehicle or Trailer Appraised at $500 or less.
Thank you. Will the city recorder please call roll vote?
Councilor Gustafson?
Yes.
Council President Rippey?
Yes.
Councilor Martinez?
Yes.
Councilor Marshall?
Yes.
Councilor Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel?
Yes. The vote is 6-0. Ordinance 2024-04 is adopted by the Forest Grove City Council. Okay, moving on to item F2. I'm going to ask Ms. Camilli to come up to present the staff report.
I've heard that our microphones aren't very well this evening, but
Okay.
you can hear me.
So is that TVCTV saying they're not working?
I'm not sure. I think it's.
I think
this
we
one.
just need to speak clearly and maybe a little more into the microphone.
That's asking a lot. Good evening, members of the City Council. On March 18th, we had a work session in which you reviewed and we had a chance to discuss the evaluation criteria to be used to evaluate the city manager's performance. Both the self-evaluation form and the City Council's form are in your packet. And now I'm going to put on my glasses like I have here. We also went over the evaluation process and the timeline and made a couple of adjustments to that, which are reflected in the staff memo that you have in your packet. The resolution to adopt the evaluation criteria and process is before you this evening. The council has the option to approve, deny, or amend by motion the evaluation criteria. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, everything is the same as it was during the work session.
Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I will now ask for a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-10.
I move that we approve resolution number 2024-10.
Second.
Okay. Resolution 2024-10 was moved by Council President Rippey and seconded by Councilor Gustafson. Will the city manager please read the resolution by title only?
Resolution number 2024-10, adapting city manager performance evaluation and self-evaluation forms and review criteria, repealing resolution number 2023-11.
Thank you. Discussion by council? Crickets. Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, please say aye. Hearing none. Resolution 2024-10 is approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a vote of 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
So now we have item F3, which is resolution number 2024-11. And we have City Manager Vander Zanden here to give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I am filling in for Paul Downey, Assistant City Manager, Finance Director, who was not feeling well this evening. The staff report was in the city council packet, but basically this is an amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 budget to receive two unanticipated revenues. One was $14,750.60 from the American Medical Response, or AMR, for ambulatory service. The other was $38,000 and $38,080.96 from an insurance company settlement having to do with the Public Works facility in which the gate hit the back of the aerial platform on one of our engines. This resolution would put an amendment to this fiscal year's budget to be able to receive these funds. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, questions for Jesse?
Yeah, I guess the question with regard to the AMR, that's refunds because we've had to fill in.
Correct.
And okay.
Yeah, the amount of the AMR response has dropped off dramatically. Since AMR and Metro West have joined into a contractual relationship, the amount that both us and other agencies such as Hillsborough and TVFNR have had to have supplemental responses has dropped off dramatically. So this is principally from several months ago. It's less recent and more compensation for what we did several months ago.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion on resolution 2024-11.
I move to approve resolution number 2024-11.
I second.
Okay, resolution number 2024-11 was moved by Councilor Gustafson and seconded by Councilor Martinez. Will the city manager please read the resolution by title only?
Resolution number 2024-11, adding appropriations to the fire department budget within the general fund in the fiscal year 2023-24 for reimbursements for unanticipated expenditures incurred for supplies and apparatus repair.
Thank you. Discussion, council discussion? Seeing none, because this deals with appropriations and money, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote from the city recorder.
Councilor Gustafson?
Yes.
Council President Rippey?
Yes.
Councilor Martinez?
Yes.
Councilor Marshall?
Yes.
Councilor Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel?
Yes. With a vote of 6-0, resolution number 2024-11 is approved by the Forest Grove City Council. Okay, we're now moving on to item G, which is council communications. The order of council communications is on the agenda, so we're going to start with Councilor Rippey. Council President Rippey.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
So I attended the Chamber's gala event. I also attended the events for By Habitat and the Chamber with Congresswoman Von Amici. I have had no commission meetings or other board meetings since we last met. And the only other thing I would like to make a comment about is the intersection at Gales Creek and Thatcher Road is now complete. And actually last Tuesday on my way home, I had to stop because there was a student using the rapid flashing beacon to cross the road. And that was why we wanted this whole thing in the first place, was to give students a safe way to cross that intersection. So my thanks and kudos to Greg Robertson and the county for redesigning that intersection and providing a safe pedestrian, bicycle, and vehicular area. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Councilor Gustafson.
I wasn't at the last PAC meeting, but I do have their notes, and I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention. They're talking about an installation date for the Guardian sculpture installation on the 11th of April or the 12th of April. I'm going to go ahead and shoot them an email to verify that, because I think that they're going to have some sort of dedication as well. So I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to attend.
Yeah, thanks. And let us know if they want one of us there.
Will do. Other than that, I didn't check with Jesse to see if a form had been created. Okay, awesome. So I'll get that. And then other than that, the Joint Water Commission meeting is later this week, so I don't have anything to report there. That's all I got.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Marshall.
All right, so forestry, they're looking at what trees to be planted, or that are going to be planted for Arbor Day. Looking to plant red cedar at the Joe Gale Park west side of the baseball field. I was thinking on that, and we were kind of going over downtown street tree management proposals. They're going to write out some more details to bring to council to kind of get their idea of which avenue they want to proceed with. And our next meeting will be 4/17. So I actually think I'll have more information on that after that meeting on what's going to go forward with downtown tree management. And then I think, Ann, I'm going to ask you, April 11th, is it the day that we're planting? Okay, April 11th, 10 a.m., Joe Gale.
Okay.
I was actually texting you to try to figure it out real quick beforehand. As far as Parks and Rec, I was going to go over the Hazel Sills. Looks like they kind of went over that. Also was going hand in hand with, they were talking about Joe Gale for planting the tree. We set up cameras at Stites Park, and was it Rogers Park? That has led to a decrease in graffiti.
Oh, good.
Because they've been able to find the people that are doing it. Pool slides were installed. Added water polo classes. Pool is fully staffed for the first time in 4 years.
Yes.
As far as the rec side, youth pickleball was a success, preparing for summer rec programs, and they're going to be extending the Forest Grove from 6 to 8 weeks.
Cool.
So, yeah, NAM's the fences are going up to turf the fields, and Cornelius is, I believe, up now. Is it already up right now? Do you know if the Cornelius is up? Fences
To turf.
to turf the fields. Yeah. I remember seeing them starting to do the process of that. I don't know if they were totally up yet, but I know that they're going to be up soon for both NAMS and Cornelius to do the fields. But, that's what I have for that.
Cool. Thank you. Hang on, let me do my check mark so I'm getting confused on my list. Okay, Councilor Martinez.
Just so you know, Anne, my granddaughters did a thumbs up on the slides at the pool. They loved it. So I attended the Forest Grove Rural Fire Department district meeting last week. And one of the members had asked about, from Gales Creek, they wondered about a CERT grant that they're going to look into. It's for CERT is Citizen Emergency Response Team. They had quite a few people that were interested, and so they're going to look into it. There's some pros and cons to that, but we'll see what transpires from that process. Forest Grove has their ambulance in possession. It's currently in the shop. They're hoping that it will be up and ready to run May to June, and that volunteers will be manning that. That's about it.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilor Martinez. Councilor Valenzuela.
All right, thank you. So we had the library here today, but we did have a meeting last week, but everything was set for the Policy Advisory Board. That should be PAB, I believe, at the end of here on the handout.
Community
Just
Development Block
yeah,
Grant. You want
and the
PA?
meeting is coming up on this Thursday because they canceled last month's meeting. So will have news for you from them for next week. I mean, next meeting.
Next Monday, yeah,
Yes.
meeting, whatever. Perfect.
So that's all from me.
Thank you. City Manager Vander Zanden. I almost said Councilor Vander.
So just a few things. We've completed the selection process for the city's emergency operations plan. A consultant has been selected, so we're currently in negotiations for that contract. We've also made an initial selection for the 2040 plan, so we're currently in negotiations also with that contractor. So once those are negotiated, we'll make an announcement both to the council and to the community about what consultants those are. There's been an extensive amount of outreach from the police department over the past month. There was Coffee with a Cop, March 23rd. There was some scam prevention presentations at both Elms and Brookdale Senior Living, both of which were very well attended. And as of March 31st, the Community Academy class, which the police department has restarted. This was formerly the academy class that was halted during COVID, but is now restarted again. It's full. It filled up as of March 31st. It's going to be held on Wednesdays from 6 to 9 p.m. It'll start April 17th, and it will be 6 weeks. We are looking at adding some different elements to the community academy, but encouraging that it's full. There's going to be a scam presentation provided by the police department at the senior center on April 19th. If you have any questions about that, you can go online, contact the police department, but it will be April 19th. Just in terms of kind of overall outreach, in virtually every department, whether it's parks, city hall, police, library, our social media outreach on both Facebook and Instagram is up. Our e-newsletter subscription is up. So we are reaching more people with more items. And so just real happy about that. Police kind of hit a big milestone. They wanted to surpass 14,000 this year, and they did in terms of Facebook followers. So kudos to Lauren Queensland for her efforts there. And then I think, last but certainly not least, applications are open for the Community Enhancement Program and the Community Impact Grants. Those applications will be open through April 30th. They opened up April 1st. You can apply online. You can call staff with any questions, but that process is open currently for all qualifying entities. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Okay, so I'm going to start with my report, and I think I'm going to check off as I go. 'Cause last month, I forgot to say something. So I attended Coffee with a Cop on the 23rd of March at Starbucks, and I think that was really cool. It's a great event. And the questions, the most common theme question I heard was about growth, development, and so it was really cool because I could talk about the 2040 plan and then give a business card and maybe start recruiting for people to be engaged with that process. On the 23rd, I attended the Chamber Gala as well. They are moving away. I've been going to that for a long time, and with the new leadership in the chamber, they're trying to do like a Spirit of Forest Grove, like more awards. So former mayor, Mr. Richard Kidd, received the Lifetime Achievement Award. Adelante Mujeres received the Community Service or Volunteer, like nonprofit organization of the year. So those are a couple of really cool things. On the 1st of April, I attended Region 1 transportation meeting. And a couple notes, Washington County Commissioner Jerry Willey replaced Roy Rogers on that board. The ODOT came and talked to us about funding challenges. Recently, I think when we were in DC, the governor said that she was not going to pursue tolling. They talked about maintenance, decrease in maintenance. How are we going to continue to fund the decrease in gas tax, a RUC, basically. And then we also had the equity presentation about encouraging more equity and more representation. And I brought that up at the budget meeting, and I sent that presentation to staff. I just think anytime we can align is better. The Oregon Mayors Association hosts the If I Could Be Mayor, or If I Were Mayor student project. Last year, 4 people participated, and this year when I went to judge the contributions, or there was, I want to say, close to 15, and we have awards for each age group. So we have a high school winner, we have a middle school, and we have multiple elementary. So that's good news. We did some recruitment for the MEAC, and we have a group of 6 to 9 students. So we're looking to see when the meeting times are for them, and then service projects. I'm going to kind of jump, but I also attended the Pacific hosted, and Councilor Valenzuela was there as well, the first community engagement summit, and the people that hosted that was the McCall Center for Civic Engagement. So there's capacity to have the MEAC work with that group from Pacific on service programs, getting the vote out. So that was a really good, it was a really good presentation. I learned something. I was reminded of things. I really like just working with young people, but then it was also a good way for me to create those relationships with cooperation, collaboration within the youth civic engagement, right? So I thought that was really cool. Okay, so Martin Road is almost complete. So there's 2 MISTIP projects for this last funding cycle, and that was the Thatcher intersection that Council President Rippey spoke to, and then also the Martin Road roundabout, which just needs some painting, I think, and some signage. We just went through the next cycle of MISTIP projects, and the number 1 for our district, or District 4 in Washington County, was the Fern Hill, Maple, and 47. It's gone through a lot of the process, so they will actually start construction in 2025. That project did make it through the vetting and the selection process, so that's really good news for Forest Grove, and you can start telling people that. You can start saying, hey, yes, we have a plan, and it got approved, and we're partnering with the county to get that done. On the 4th, Congresswoman Bonamici was here, and they had an event with Habitat. Thank you to Council President Rippey for going to that in the morning. It was with the USDA. And then the chamber luncheon, she came and listened to small business, just business owners, about what their needs are. I thought it was a really good, just informal, but really elevated some concerns from different areas of business within Forest Grove. And then I already spoke to the fact on Saturday, I attended the Spirit of Civic Engagement Summit at Pacific. Coming soon, tomorrow night, at the East Side Park location is going to be a community engagement from 5:30 to 7. Refreshments and just kind of listening to what people want there. So if you can make it, that'd be great. I have it on my calendar. This Saturday, Pacific's Luau is happening. The 14th, Waltz Brewery down the road is having a chili cook-off, and Police Chief Ryman and myself are the judges. Next week on the 17th through the 20th is the Oregon Heritage Conference. And, one of the award winners is my mother-in-law, Mary Jo Morelli, who's been doing historic preservation in Forest Grove for over 50 years. And so she will be receiving an award on Thursday, April 18th. And then in 2 weeks, the day of our next council meeting, April 22nd at noon, is the Chamber State of the City address in this location. So that is all I have. I hope I didn't forget anything. I went through my whole list. So I'm going to adjourn this meeting.
Didn't you win something at Chamber?
Yes.
Give yourself credit. Spirit of, what was it, the Spirit of Forest Grove?
Yes, thank you, Councilor Marshall.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
Didn't mean to embarrass you.
I was it's going to roll. Thank you. So TBC TV needs 1 minute to switch to the work session video. So if we could stay at the dais, then we can move on, because we have 2 work sessions, 1 hour. Is that okay with everybody? Okay, cool. So I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
So what day is the East